Good afternoon, all of you. In last lecture, I have discussed the classification of disinfectant along with or the different classification of disinfectant. Today, we will see the next point of our syllabus, that is factors affecting on disinfection or the factors influencing on the disinfection. The activity of disinfection and sterilization against microorganisms is affected by numerous factors, some of which are chemical or the external or the physical factors. Then the understanding how these factors are affecting the efficacy of disinfection and sterilization will lead to a better use of this procedure. There are different factors that are affecting or that are influencing in disinfection. First, number and location of microorganisms. Then second, innate resistance of microorganism. Third, concentration and potency of disinfectants. Then physical and chemical factors. In that, temperature, pH, relative humidity and water hardness. Then organic and inorganic matter. Then duration of exposure, and then biofilms, and last, that is shelf life or the age. These are the factors that are affecting or the influence on the process of disinfection. We will see one by one. First factor, that is number and location of microorganism. Under constant variable, greater the population of microbes. Under constant variables, the greater the population of microbes, the more time a germicide required to kill all of them. Then this resistant the importance of cleaning instrument before disinfection and the sterilization, as this will decrease the number of microorganisms and therefore reduce the exposure time necessary to destroy the microbial load. In addition, the aggregated or clumped cells are more difficult to inactivate than monodispersed cells. Then the location of microorganism also vital as a medical device with multiple parts. It must be disassembled, and instruments that have crevices, joints and channels are more difficult to clean, therefore it must be thoroughly disinfected. Then second, that is innate resistance of microorganisms. There is great variation with microorganisms and their resistance to chemical germicides and sterilization processes. To destroy the most resistant type of microorganism, the use of exposure times and certain concentration of germicides are required to achieve complete obliteration. Then next factor, that is concentration and potency of disinfectants. Under constant condition, with the exception of iodophores, the greater the concentration of disinfectant, the greater its efficacy, and therefore shorter the time required to obtain the destruction of microorganism. I am repeating here. Under constant condition, the greater the concentration of disinfectant, the greater its efficacy, and therefore the shorter the time required to obtain the destruction of microorganism. However, the disinfectant are not all similarly affected by concentration modifications, as for example the relationship of quaternary ammonium compounds and phenol with concentration. Then next, that is physical and chemical factor. In that, first, temperature. As temperature is increases, so does the activity of most disinfectants. However, increase in the temperature can cause disinfectant to degrade, therefore minimizing their germicidal activity. Then pH, as increase in pH can either increase or decrease the antimicrobial activity. by altering the disinfectant molecule or the cell surface depending upon the disinfectant used. Then, for example, greater activity found in phenolics with acidic pH. Then, whereas acridine dyes and quaternary salts are more active in alkaline pH. When next, that is relative humidity. It is the single most crucial factor in manipulating gaseous disinfectant sterilants such as chlorine dioxide and formaldehyde. Then water hardness. The water hardness is due to high concentration of divalent cation like magnesium, calcium, or etc. are present in water. Usually, disinfection process is gradually decrease of specific disinfectant due to the divalent cations which interacting with the disinfectant to create insoluble precipitate. Then organic and inorganic matter. The organic matter, the serum, blood, pus or lubricant material can affect the antimicrobial activity of disinfectants by either a chemical reaction between germicide and the organic matter, therefore resulting in a compound that is less germicidal or non-germicidal, which result in decreased level of the active germicides available for attacking the microorganisms. Instead of some organic material can protect the microorganism by acting as a physical barrier. Then inorganic matter protect microorganism from all sterilization procedure. This stresses the importance of thorough cleaning of medical instrument before the disinfectant and sterilization processes. Then duration of exposure. Medical instrument must be exposed to the germicide for the suitable minimum contact time. In general, the longer exposure time are required, which are depending upon the different microorganism. Then next, that is biofilms. The biofilms are the thick mass of cells and extracellular materials produced by microorganisms to protect themselves from the action of disinfectants. They are difficult to remove from the surface of production or because of their closely association with microorganism. Then bacteria with biofilm. Bacteria within biofilms are up to 1000 times or more resistant to antimicrobials than the same bacteria in suspension. Then chlorine and monochloramines are found to successfully deactivate biofilm bacteria. The biofilms can produce serious effects for immunocompromised patients and patients who have indwelling medical devices. Then shelf life of the age. The shelf life or the age of the disinfectant solution being used also affects its effectiveness. May chemicals diminish its potency with this passage of time and their exposure to air and the other chemicals in the solution. So these are the factors that are affecting or the influence or the influence on the disinfection.